And we're live. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me. It's so great to see everyone coming on here. Looking down to see a bunch of people are still kind of logging in as well, but a lot of people that I recognize and some that I don't, which is great. So welcome. Thank you guys all for joining me. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Don't worry if you miss any part of it because this is likely going to be recorded and made available to you so you can watch it on your own time again as well if you wish. And also don't forget, down below you can type in your questions. I'll try to get to them at the very end. If I don't happen to get to them, because I want to try to keep this short and concise and really hit the main points, we'll make sure to give you information at the end of how you can contact us and ways in which that we can correspond and get you more information. So I'm very excited to do this. I'm here to talk about the Silver Fern Elevated Program and the products associated with it. And for those of you who don't know, my name is Kirshnan. I'm a microbiologist and a clinical researcher. I've been in the dietary supplement industry for probably about 17, 18 years now. Kind of feel old saying that, but it's true, unfortunately. I've been in the supplement industry for a long time, in the nutritional industry as well, but as a research scientist in many ways. And over the last about 10 years, I've been really focusing in on gut health, gut bacteria, and probiotics, and really understanding how all of that can really impact our health, and it's all kind of trickling down to a few different really key important facts that I'll some of which will be quite applicable to what we're talking about today. I've had a lot of people talking about the Silver Fern Elevated program, asking a lot of good questions. So I had a lot of requests to do this particular webinar. So I'm just going to jump right into it. This is to give you all the background and understanding on this extremely novel approach to thinking about weight loss, weight management, metabolic syndrome, and all that. So let's jump right into it. The first thing is let's talk about weight. I mean, nobody spends more money on weight loss programs and gimmicks and devices and diet pills and all than Americans, right? And despite, of course, all of that, the billions and billions of dollars that are being spent, the obesity epidemic just continues to grow, and virtually everybody, knows people or is that person that has suffered with weight and weight management. But there's always that person, and most of us know that person, or maybe you are that person. You probably aren't if you're watching this, but you know that person that can eat whatever he or she wants and never gains weight, right? We have that person in our family, or we have a friend like that. And people always say, well, they have a high metabolism. In fact, people always say that about themselves too. Oh, I have a high metabolism. It's just so hard for me to gain weight. Well, in fact, they don't. A high metabolism basically means that they burn more calories just kind of sitting around and doing the daily things that we do. And that's not actually true. They don't actually have a high metabolism or higher than any normal person. And in fact, there's been studies on this. There's a number of populations throughout the world. A lot of them are hunter-gatherer tribes like in Tanzania, like the Hadza tribe or the tribes in Papua New Guinea. These are the old hunter and gatherers. They stay really lean for most of their lives. They don't really put on weight. They don't have metabolic syndrome issues. There's certain populations, even in the modern world, that tend to be more lean. And they've done a lot of studies to figure out what is the actual physiological difference between someone who puts on weight easily or finds it really hard to lose weight, who has much higher propensity for diabetes, or someone that can eat virtually what they want and still stay lean or lose weight or loses weight really easily. What is the real difference? And it boils down to your gut bacteria. You would not expect this. This is not something that people know about. And once you're done watching this, you'll actually know more about this than your doctor probably does, because this is all extremely new information that microbiologists that are studying and putting this information out there. So the biggest difference, and really one of the only main differences between someone who's really lean and stays lean and easily loses weight versus someone who's been struggling with weight, is the types of bacteria that you have within your gut. So all the bacteria in your gut, there's 100 trillion microbes in your gut. There's a lot of bacteria in your gut. They all fall under certain groups, right? So there's 6 to 7 main groups of bacteria within your gut. The two main ones that we're going to be talking about today are Firmicutes and Bacteroidetes. It's not that important to remember the names or memorize them or learn how to spell them even, but just keep in mind that those are the two biggest groups of bacteria within your gut. And it all comes down to this. Those that tend to stay lean, who burn fat more, who actually don't need to eat as much, who eat less, have better satiety, have lower appetites, they tend to have higher degrees of bacteroidetes and slightly less firmicutes. Those with higher firmicutes tend to have more sugar cravings, tend to have more inflammation. The inflammation itself actually will help cause obesity. Tend to have more propensity for type 2 diabetes, tends to put on fat more, makes it much more harder to burn fat. All of that, all of these changes just from having a higher proportion or a slightly elevated proportion of firmicutes. So this is where the big, the big elephant in the room is that people just don't address with diet plans. And this program is called the Silver Fern brand elevated program because it takes whatever diet you're on, whether you're on the Atkins diet or you're on the South Beach diet or you're the Ornish diet or you're on paleo diet. It takes whatever program you're on trying to lose weight and elevates it because we are addressing the key factor, which is the proportion of bacteroidetes to firmicutes. The other part of it is we're also reconditioning the gut. And when you recondition the gut and when you get the right types of bacteria into the gut, the food that you eat is converted into messages, if you will, if that's the best way I can describe it, something called short chain fatty acids. I'll talk a little bit more about that. But those messages actually trigger fat burn in your body. They actually turn on genes in your body that promote fat burn. They also turn on genes that reduce fat storage. They also turn on genes to make you more insulin sensitive, so you have better blood sugar control, makes you more satiated after a meal, so your hunger hormone balancing totally falls in line. All of this from signals, messengers, chemical messengers that are created by the right types of bacteria. Okay, so without the shift in the bacteria that I'm talking about, you really will never see permanent, lasting, healthy weight loss and changes in your metabolism. So we have to address that. No matter what program you're on, you have to utilize the elevated program to fix the gut portion of it, which is the key. So let's talk about how you do that. The first step is by consuming the right probiotic. So the right probiotic can actually start making a lot of those changes for you. There are very, very few probiotics on the market that have actually been shown to be able to have this function. The one we work with, the one I work with the Silver Fern brand folks with, is called bacterial endospores, Bacillus endospores actually. Silver Fern has a product called the Ultimate Probiotic that has 5 different strains in it, and actually has a really potent clinical dose of these types of bacteria that really make a fundamental change within your microflora in the gut itself. It's the probiotic I use. It's a powerful product and a product that everybody should literally be on because it's where you start making that fundamental change. So what these bacteria can do is they'll get into the gut and they will actually start reconditioning the environment of the gut. They'll actually acidify the gut. They'll actually use up the oxygen because you don't want any oxygen, especially in the upper part of the GI. So they start using up the oxygen and they acidify the gut, they reduce inflammation, they produce the short chain fatty acids, those are the chemical messengers I'm talking about. All these things start favoring the growth of the bacteria within the Bacteroidetes group. This is a group you want to increase in order to start burning fat and becoming more lean. They also have the capability of suppressing a lot of the bacteria within the Firmicutes group. So they themselves can start making this switch for you in your body. They act as like the gut police. It's almost like if you have an overgrowth or a population of the bad people in there, or not necessarily the bad people, but the ones that you don't want to have too much of, and not enough of the good people that really favor your metabolism. You send in the cops, the police, if you will, the SEAL Team 6. They get in there and they actually will eliminate some of the unfavorable bacteria and help the good ones grow by producing compounds that support the growth of the good ones. So they get in there, recondition the gut. The other thing that they do that I mentioned earlier is they take the carbohydrates and things that you're eating and convert them into short chain fatty acids. These short short chain fatty acids are so incredibly important to your metabolism, and we can't produce them ourselves, right? We count on these bacteria virtually 100% for the short chain fatty acids. What these short chain fatty acids do is they feed the good bacteria, they feed the Bacteroidetes type of bacteria so that you can increase their proportion. They actually turn on genes that help you burn fat. They turn on genes that suppress fat storage. They actually turn on genes that improve your hunger sensations, how your body deals with caloric balances and things like that, and how you deal with cravings. And so they actually start to reprogram your metabolism from the inside out to make you more of a lean person, to have that lean conformation within the gut. And that kind of change is really what you need in order to become a lean, fit person and have that be a permanent change for you. So the other thing is, to consider with probiotics is not every probiotic can do this. There's certain variables that are extremely important within a probiotic in order to achieve this kind of effect. Number one, you have to know what you're taking. One of the big problems with a lot of probiotics on the market today is you have no idea what you're taking. A lot of the products, the vast majority of them, seem to be mislabeled with the wrong strains. The University of California, Davis did a study that published at the end of last year in the Journal of Nature, which is like the top scientific journal there is. They did a beautiful study where they took a bunch of probiotic products from health food stores, from onlines and all that within the U.S. market, and they ran something called DNA sequencing, right? DNA sequencing is the only way to really know exactly what type of probiotic bacteria these are. And what they found is of all the products they tested, 98% of them actually had the wrong strains in them. So what they claimed on the label was actually completely different than what was in the capsule. So you have no idea. You could be going out there and spending $40, $50 on a bottle, and you've got the wrong strains. And in fact, some of them were so bad that pill to pill they had in the same bottle had different strains in it. This is a published study that anyone can look up. If you look up UC Davis probiotic study, you'll probably find it. And that's mind-boggling, And so what that tells me from someone in the industry is that we really need to improve what we're doing from a quality assurance standpoint. So one of the things that we're doing is we're doing full DNA analysis on the bacterial strains that we use in the Ultimate Probiotic and every one of the Silver Fern brand products. That DNA analysis is extremely important in order to be verified. So if you're out there looking for probiotic, if you do not see that it has been DNA verified, be cautious. We are doing that on the product so that you don't have to think about that. The second part is it has to survive through the gastric system. That's another very important feature of an effective probiotic. Now, remember, we're expecting this probiotic to get in the gut and start changing the environment, right? So if we're expecting it to start changing the environment, it has to be in the digestive tract alive in order to function that way. Most probiotic bacteria cannot survive through the gastric system. The gastric system has a very, very harsh pH. And when I say gastric system, I'm talking about your stomach. It's called a gastric barrier in scientific circles because one of its functions is to actually keep out a lot of bad bacteria. So it kills a lot of the bacteria that's coming in from the environment and your food, but it also kills virtually all probiotic bacteria. One of the key features of the probiotic bacteria within the Silver Fern brand products is that they've been shown to naturally survive through the harsh gastric environment and get to the intestines completely alive in order to function as a probiotic to start making those changes you need. And those studies are totally available on the website. They can send you the report. So again, when you're looking for a probiotic, if they don't show you gastric survival data, you have no idea if they make it to the intestines alive or not. More than likely, based on a lot of the studies that are out there, what you're getting is a lot of dead bacteria moving right through. So again, don't waste your money on dead bacteria. Look for the survivability data. The other part of it is the actual function in changing your metabolism. Not every probiotic bacteria can actually convert fibers and carbohydrates into short chain fatty acids. That is a very, very important feature. The strains that we have in the Silver Fern line actually will increase the production of short chain fatty acids by almost 40%. That's a huge increase over a regular bowel, a regular healthy bowel, that is. That's the study that we did at Ghent University in Europe. We showed that we can increase the short chain fatty acid production, by about 40%. And that's huge, guys. You can't do that. No other probiotic that we've seen that I've worked with or tested has actually done that same thing. That's what makes me so excited about these probiotics. So getting the right probiotic in, getting the police of the gut, if you will, they start changing things. They start making things better. They start shifting the ratio of good and bad bacteria. Now, the next thing that you need to do is actually consume a lot more fiber, and particular fiber, not every kind of fiber, but certain types of soluble fibers and small amounts of insoluble fibers, the right type of fiber that can feed the bacteria that you're trying to target to grow. That's really the key, and a lot of people find it really difficult to add more and more fiber into their diet. Well, Silver Fern has made it extremely easy to do that with a whole line of drinks and foods and snacks that are high in fiber, high in the right type of good fiber. They have added more probiotic in every one of the food products just to give you that extra boost. And then they've eliminated all the sugars and all the simple carbohydrates and the gums. These are all things that are hidden in a lot of healthy foods that actually hurt your metabolism and hurt your weight and your waistline. So something to consider as well. These are extremely clean products. So one of them, right behind me, those are mine. Those are the wide drink mixes. Just a beautiful little stick bag. There's 6, 7 different flavors of them. They have no sugar in them. They have high fiber. They're delicious. They're still sweet because of a brilliant new natural sweetener called tagatose, which actually acts as a fiber and supports the good bacteria. And then on top of that, they've added more of the good probiotic bacteria that you get in the ultimate probiotic. So it gives you that extra boost every time you consume something. And everybody has to drink a certain amount of liquid a day. Throw in the drink mix in your liquid and you're getting a lot of the fiber that you need. On top of that, they also have things like the Paca baking mixes, so you can actually make cookies that are high in fiber that will help you lose weight, which is amazing. You can actually make pancakes, brownies, all kinds of things. It's amazing what they've done in terms of creating healthy snacks that will actually support the elevated platform to help you convert your metabolism and the types of bacteria within your gut. Let me mention a couple other things. They have Tino fiber. They have the wide drink mix. They have the Kai milkshakes. Meal shakes as well. These are great meal replacement shakes. So if you're on the go and you're trying to cut back on calories, it's a great way to go because, again, high fiber. The fiber feeds the Bacteroidetes family of bacteria. That's really a key. So sugars and processed carbohydrates feed Firmicutes, and they're the ones that actually make you feel like you crave and need sugar because they're trying to support themselves, so they make you crave sugar so that you eat sugar. There was a great article that was titled "My Bacteria Made Me Eat a Cupcake," and they can actually do that to you. They can actually make you want to go eat a cupcake. They create neurotransmitters that they send up your vagus nerve directly to your brain. They control your behavior and your cravings. So don't let them do that to you anymore. Feed your gut with more of the good fiber that you can find in all these different great snack foods that they've created in the drink mixes. And then with the probiotic, you'll convert those fibers into those fat-burning short-chain fatty acids. You will suppress the growth of the Firmicutes type of bacteria, elevate the growth of the Bacteroides type bacteria, and get that fundamental change that you need in order to become a lean person. So that's a very basic fundamental aspect. There's 2 more things I want you guys to keep in mind and consider as part of the full elevated program to really get the results you want. The first thing is simple. Avoid all processed sugars and carbohydrates. Ignore those things. Get your sweet craving from the drink mixes or the cookies and things like that that have that brilliant tagatose sugar in it that gives you that sweet sensation but doesn't feed the Firmicutes type of bacteria. Get your fiber along with the sweetness, so that way you get some benefit along with the sweetness. The other thing that I want to talk about is intermittent fasting. So this is an important part that we think of the whole program, and if it can be done, it'll certainly elevate the results to a certain degree, more so than not doing it. Now, you could still get the fantastic fantastic results without doing it. But if you can add the intermittent fasting, it will actually boost your results quite a bit. And let me explain what that is actually. So intermittent fasting, and I've been doing this for about 3 years. I do it virtually every single day. I travel 40 weeks out of the year. The only way I haven't ballooned out into an obese person from having to eat outside more than I really want to is by doing intermittent fasting, because I also don't get to work out as much as I want to. And basically, what it is you're taking in your full daily calories within an 8 hour period, right? And so you're fasting then for the next 16 hours. 16 hours sounds like a lot, but if you put most of that overnight, it actually becomes quite easy. So think about it this way. This is what I do. I stop eating at about 8 o'clock at night, and I don't eat my next meal again till about noon the next day. So basically, I'm just skipping breakfast. And that gives me 16 hours of a fast, and then I eat my full day's worth of calories and food between noon and 8 p.m. again. So that's 8 hours of feeding. So basically skipping breakfast. Now, what that does for you is it upregulates the production of human growth hormone. You get this nice, beautiful, high level of human growth hormone, about 700% increase in human growth hormone, which actually helps your body burn fat, helps you put on more lean muscles, actually makes you more cognitive. You become more alert. You become more functional. You actually have more energy. It's a total misnomer to think that you need to eat in order to have energy. We have well over 60, 70,000 calories worth of energy stored on our body in the form of fat. We just have to be able to tap into that. That's what the fasting does. It helps your body train itself to be able to tap into the fat for energy so that you can wake up and do all the things that you need to do. Think about our ancestors, the hunter-gatherer ancestors. They foraged for food, they dug for roots and tubers. They didn't have access to calories all the time like we do. So it's not like they woke up in the morning and was able to go to the fridge and get some breakfast. They woke up in the morning and they felt the hunger pangs. Now they had to strategize and figure out how they were going to go find food, and whether they were going to catch food, so they had to create a plan, whether they had to dig for food or scavenge for food, whatever they had to do. But they required energy and cognitive function. So the body is actually designed, when you're in that fasted state, to work at a higher level, to give you more energy, to make your muscles work better, to make your brain work better. So you'll start to see those types of things when you get adjusted to the intermittent fasting. Now, some people may ask, if I have medical conditions, what can I do? I'll try to address that at the end, if there's time. If not, we'll post it somewhere. We'll post the answer to that, and maybe somebody here will ask that question anyway. So if someone asks that question, I'll address that. So let me summarize then for you quickly. Start with the ultimate probiotic. Okay, so that's extremely important in order to start changing what your microflora looks like. You need to start suppressing the Firmicutes. You need to start increasing the growth of the Bacteroidetes. You need to start changing the environment within the gut so that more and more Bacteroidetes are favored to grow. You also need to use the ultimate probiotic to convert the carbohydrates and fibers that are coming in into those very, very important short chain fatty acids. All of those things together will make the metabolic shift and the microbial shift that you need in order to change your body composition from being someone that struggles with weight to somebody that's lean and fit all the time. That is extremely important. Then the next step is to just add more fiber to your diet, and the right types of fiber. That's key, right? And you want to add it throughout the day, because the good bacteria, the Bacteroidetes, will feed on the fiber, and it suppresses the growth of the bad bacteria, the bacteria that you don't want in high abundance. And so the Silver Fern brand, the Elevated program, offers you a whole host of products that can allow you to get a significant amount of fiber on a daily basis without even thinking about it. It's very hard to take a big scoop of those soluble fiber products that come in tins and mix it into a shake. A lot of times it's very dry in the mouth. It's hard to take it down. But if you eat a couple cookies a day, you do 2 or 3 of these drinks a day, maybe you take the Tino fiber, maybe you bake a pan of brownies. Between all of those, all of a sudden you've got 15, 20 grams of the right fiber into your diet. You've got several billion CFUs of the right bacteria, the powerful endospores we talked about, and you're starting to make changes within your gut. Now, if you can add to that the staying away from the processed carbohydrates and the sugars, then you're going to suppress the growth of the Firmicutes even further. And lastly, if you can add the intermittent fasting, what it's going to do is allow for the increase in human growth hormone, allow for your body to tap more into fat as energy, increase your cognitive function. You'll actually find after you get used to it, after a few days, that you're actually more alert in the morning. You function better. I used to be a person that would eat breakfast every day until I read up on the science and looked at the studies and did some studies myself, and figured out that, you know what, breakfast is the most important meal to skip. It's not the most important meal of the day, as the Kellogg Company and other places would have you believe. In fact, I would eat breakfast and then I would get, pretty groggy and hungry around 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. My energy levels would go down. Now I don't eat till 12, 1 o'clock, and I am buzzing at 10, 11 o'clock. My energy levels are high. My brain works really well. I do a lot of my good work at that time of day. I don't get that 2, 3 o'clock kind of drowsy feeling. Energy levels are way up there, and that's a huge part of it because you want to be active. You want to feel good because when you feel good, you're going to do things that make you look good. And that's my true belief. And I see that so much with people that we work with. So those are the most important tips. Again, get the ultimate probiotic. Add as much fiber in your diet, mix and match all the different products that they offer, which are all incredibly tasty and makes it so easy to eat healthy and get the right type of fiber in your diet. Stay away from the processed sugars and the carbohydrates and things like that. Even the artificial sweeteners, those can be havoc on your gut. Try to look for, if you're looking at health foods, look for things like carrageenan and other, fibers in there that are actually gums, right? So if you see anything that says gum acacia, things like that, that can actually be a negative thing for your body. So you've taken the thinking out of it by making all these great healthy products for you to be able to enjoy without having to do a whole lot of work. And lastly, if you can add in the intermittent fasting, that's fantastic. So that summarizes the plan, guys. It's quite simple. Just add this to any diet that you're doing, or if you're not dieting, it doesn't matter. If you're just trying to watch your calories, just add these products and the probiotic. Try to add the intermittent fasting in, stay away from the sugars. You're going to be golden. You're going to start reprogramming your gut and reprogramming your metabolism to become a lean, fat burning, no fat storage, high functioning person. That's really the key. So, thank you guys so much. Let me try to get to some questions. I have a few more minutes here. Let me see. All right. One question is, talk about the benefits timeline. What can we expect? Okay, so great. That's a great question. What can you expect from doing this, right? What you'll see is, let's say you're not on any sort of diet at all, but what you're going to start doing is start cutting back on how much you eat. You're going to add in the intermittent fasting. You're going to start taking the ultimate probiotic every day. You'll start doing 2 or 3 of these drink mixes a day and maybe intermixing some of the snacks and things like that to up your fiber levels. What you'll notice first, within the first probably 10 days, is a total change in how you crave food and what you crave. Your cravings will go way down, right? And you'll find that when you are hungry and then you do eat, it takes much less food to actually satiate you. So your levels of these are hormones called adiponectin, leptin. They're the ones that signal whether you're full or not and how your body uses the energy and the calories. Those all function at a much higher level. So what you'll experience is you're going to be really hungry and then you're going to eat, and you'll eat just a tiny amount and you'll be totally satiated and you'll have plenty of energy and you'll feel good. The other thing you'll notice is cognitive changes. So and this is one of the main things I notice, is that you'll start becoming more alert. You remember things better. You don't have that grogginess. You actually have more energy. I actually do most of my workouts fasted in the mid-morning to afternoon because I find I have more energy once I'm doing them in a fasted state. So you'll start noticing that. Now, within the first about 10 to 14 days, you'll start seeing some weight coming off as well. And the thing is, you're not looking for crazy sensational weight loss. We're not looking for 8, 10 pounds a week. That's just crazy. Your body just can't do that in a healthy way, right? What you're looking is anywhere from, even as little as half a pound to 2 pounds a week. That's perfect, healthy weight loss. That's weight loss from fat, from stored fat. it takes about 3,500 calories of net burn from fat in order to lose a pound of fat. So if you think about it in a week's period of time, you can probably do a net burn of around 12,000 calories at most. Maybe somewhere around 1,500 to 2,000 a day. So that gives you about 2 to 3 pounds that you can lose a week in a healthy way that will actually not just kind of bounce back the moment you deviate from your plan. This plan actually reconditions how your body deals with food and how you deal with food, how you look at food and how you crave food. So it's a more of a permanent change. So you start looking for that 1 or 2 pound loss after the first 10, 14 days. And then you should start seeing, if you start maintaining your diet fairly well, meaning you're not going crazy and doing like full on cheat days where you're eating 10,000 calories. You're just kind of doing a maintenance thing where you're just eating smart. You're not dieting in any hardcore way, but you're doing the fasting, you're adding the drink mixes, the fibers, the probiotic. You'll start to see a nice gradual drop in weight, but that's permanent loss. That's very important. It's a healthy way of losing weight as well. So that's what you can expect from the first couple weeks of being on the program, and that's really key. Another question. This is Rosa from Florida. She says, is it safe for pregnant and nursing women? Absolutely. All the products are absolutely safe for pregnant and nursing women. Of course, you're not as concerned about weight and changes to your body when you're pregnant or nursing. You're more concerned about having a healthy gut bacteria. The probiotic itself will do that for you. High fiber is always good because the more healthy your gut bacteria is, the more healthy your immune system is, thus the more healthy your baby's immune system is as you're nursing them. They're getting all of their immunological factors from you through breast milk, or if you're pregnant and you're about to give birth, you're going to pass on all your immunological factors and as well as your bacteria to your baby. So you want to make sure you're passing on good, healthy bacteria to your baby. It becomes quite important. I think I have time for one more question. Susan from Minnesota, says that I have IBD and can I follow the diet? So IBD is inflammatory bowel disease. It actually is a big umbrella that incorporates things like Crohn's, colitis, diverticulitis, even IBS can sometimes fall into IBD. And these are basically conditions where your body is basically eating away at your intestinal lining, and that causes something called leaky gut, which creates inflammation and in fact can promote weight gain and mess up your metabolism. The strains within the product, we actually just finished a study at University of North Texas. It shows that it seals up the gut and starts helping support the regeneration of your gut lining. So in fact, it can be quite beneficial for people with IBD. Beyond the weight aspect of it, it can actually help with the condition itself, help support a much better response to the condition itself. So absolutely encourage anyone with IBD or gut specific issues to do this because this could be really good for their gut as well. The last question I'll take is, I have diabetes and medically unable to fast. What are my options? Great question. If you're not able to fast, not able to do the 16-hour fast, just do the longest you can. If the longest you go fasting right now is 6 hours, try to go 6.5 for a week. The next week, try to go 7, and do it, in a controlled way. Don't go crazy. Don't take yourself to a point where it's unhealthy for you. Just do little bits at a time. You can also space out the time between meals to get more of that fasted state. You can also reduce the caloric intake from each individual meal. Do that over a long period of time. That'll add up to actually being in the fasted state for a little bit longer throughout the day. So if you can't do the full 16-hour fast, 8-hour feeding window thing, you could start slowly making changes by adding a little bit more time between your meals, reducing the caloric content of each meal. That's all the time I have. I think I'm actually running over. So let me give you a few things. You can look at the elevated PDF, which you can find, I think, below. You might be able to click on it. That's going to give you a lot more of the frequently asked questions. The questions I didn't get to on this will actually add to that itself. So you should be able to get all your questions answered. Now, if you didn't get your questions answered and you don't find it on the FAQs, you can email us directly at questions@silverfernbrand.com. It'll actually come to me. I'm happy to answer your questions for you on metabolism, your gut health, all of that good stuff. As a microbiologist and researcher, I've been involved in a lot of this. The Silver Fern brand products are available on Amazon now, and they're also directly available on the silverfernbrand.com website. And in fact, I worked out a deal with the guys. I work as their medical, sorry, not their scientific advisor. I work as their scientific advisor, and so I worked out a deal with them where you can go to silverfernbrand.com /Kiran, my name, Kiran. And there's a special offer for you on there for the drink mixes and a special thank you for attending this webinar. So do that, visit that. That's something I try to set up for you guys for attending and sticking with me through this. Again, thank you so much. I was very excited to do this because I'm very excited about this program. We're seeing tremendous results. Email us if you have questions. I wish you guys all good luck, and I think you're going to be doing awesome. Thank you.